Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we're checking out US versus Europe guide to cultural differences. Okay, I like this type of like comparisons because I want to see what is different or similar in places as well as like compared to here in the Philippines, right? Some people are like, why do you have to compare it to the Philippines? Oh my god. Because I want to know which one is the closest to the cultural differences or similarities. So anyways, beautiful peeps, let's go straight into the video. Oh, don't forget to click the bell button if you see the bell sign. um do we still have bell signs? Yeah, because my schedule lately has been like all over the place. So um my obsession with like time, right? So since I was super, how do you must say this, I was so free with my day, I took upon myself to look for a job. So that's why my time is so busy now. It's not like regular. So it's better if you click the bell button so that you know when I can upload or when I upload, right? Like because I don't know when my schedules are anymore. It's not last year wherein we did it every weekday. Now I have no clue. It depends on my schedule at work. So excuse moi. So yeah, bell button. It will notify you when I upload. But anyways, beautiful peeps, let's go straight into the video. Let's get it.
Hey there, we are guides from Prague, Czech Republic, and this is one of our favorite pubs. But somebody just recently left a nasty review complaining about the fact that the waiter simply asked them, "You want a beer?" The waiter brought the beer, and then once the person was finished, they brought another beer, and this guy was complaining about it. What is he talking about? That's the best thing. Once you're finished with your beer, they bring another one. So for me, from the perspective of a Czech European, that's a good sign. For an American, that may be kind of weird or rude. So today we want to talk about cultural differences between our country, our city, and United States of America. First of all, you may be surprised what the beer looks like. Well, we have a video dedicated only to that. And second, when I walked in, I didn't look at a beer menu or something that may be quite common in the United States, where you have different beers on tap. Most pubs and restaurants in Czech Republic will have one brewery on tap in the pub. So that's why you can walk in and just say, "I'll have one." So I kind of like that. You walk into a pub and you don't have a million choices, you just say one. In US, not only you have a choice of beers that are on tap, quite often there's 5, 10, 20, but also they will ask you, do you want draft or bottle?
Yeah.
What kind of question is
Even
that?
in the Philippines,
the reason you go to a pub is to get
They do
beer
that.
on tap, to get draft beer. If you want bottled beer, you go to a supermarket. So for us, that's a big cultural difference that quite often we don't understand. Now, a beer here costs 55 crowns. Let's call that $2.50 to round it up. If you go to a stadium, to a sports event here in Prague, it's going to cost around $3. Well, nothing like that in US. If you go to a pub, it may cost $5, $6. And you go to a stadium, and it can cost $10, $15, even $20. Honza hates it. Whenever he goes to a sports event, he's always shocked with the price of the beer. I myself, when I travel to US, I usually don't go to sports events, but I like amusement parks. Just recently, I visited Universal Studios. It was the most expensive beer I ever had in my life. $15. I could not believe it. Now, I understand that going to amusement park, you don't go there for beer, you go there for the rides, but still $15?
I don't even drink,
It was insane.
But amusement parks are always
Why
so
did I do
expensive.
that?
Like
Also,
food
fun
and
fact,
drink.
I did not take a picture of the beer, but I did take a picture of the receipt. Now, the price of the beer, as I said at the amusement park, was $15. But I was asked to pay more than $16. Why? It said
like
15. Well, tax was not included. What is this about? We go to a place, and I'm not only talking restaurants, but any store shop, and the price tag is the final price you pay. It says 55 here, it's gonna cost 55. They include the tax. Why don't you do that in US? It's just sad.
1,000 pesos? Oh my god.
I mean, imagine me, I'm 11 years old, I have my first dollar ever, and I walk into a dollar store, looking forward to buy something for $1. I pick up the item, go to the register, $1.50. What? It's It's a dollar store. Everything costs a dollar, not dollar store plus tax. Now let's switch from drinks to food. In any place, you can get some food, right? Mostly you pick something from the menu and no further questions will be asked.
Ooh.
Well, in US, quite often they will ask you how you want it customized. Do you want bacon? Do you want that cheese? Do you want this cheese? Do you want this or that and that? It gets quite confusing for us. And you can imagine me being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger.
Every time I watch this type of videos, I slowly realize, I mean, we all know by now that Philippines is very customized to the American standard or English, everything. The way we live, even, yeah, everything that he mentioned so far, we are so on the American side. Well, maybe not the prices, obviously, because like, yeah, you know. But everything that we do is very American. Even asking how you like your, you know, your eggs, you like scrambled, sunny side up, you want more cheese, you want spicy, you want like whatever. It's the same.
Being 11 years old in US, in New Jersey, first walking to a restaurant, ordering a burger, very much looking forward to it. And they asked me, how do you want your burger done? I said, I don't know, very well done, thinking that they would make it completely. Yeah, you can imagine what happened. They brought this black piece of meat that was unedible. And all my friends had a laugh about it.
Very well
Now, to be
done.
fair, if you go to a restaurant in
that's
Prague nowadays and you will have a burger, they will ask you how you want it done. But once again, the fact that you can customize anything at a restaurant in US is very uncommon for us here. So if you come to a pub or a restaurant in Czech Republic, don't expect that you can customize every single item on the menu. That's why there's a menu with things that you pick from.
I will learn that.
I really
Okay.
hope we didn't
Keep that in
lose
mind.
our subscribers from United States. We love you guys. So to say something that we consider to be amazing in US that we don't have here is water. Free water at a restaurant, at a bar, anywhere. You sit down at a table and in US, you get a glass of water. Never happens
Why
in
don't
the
they give
Czech
you water?
Republic ever. Not only that, if you ask for tap water, quite often they will say, no, we don't serve tap water. And you will get a tiny little bottle of water that you will pay for $2, $3, $4. It's ridiculous. I know a restaurant where I go to, and I will always say, can I get tap water? They're like, no, we can't do that. We can only sell you a bottle. And I quite
So
often
beer
say,
is cheaper
I'll
than
pay
water?
the same price that I'll pay for the bottle for tap water. Like, no, we can't do that. Crazy. Why did we cut to here? Well, we are here thanks to our partner, which is Surfshark VPN. We're actually on the border with Germany, also many culture differences between them and us. But if you don't want any differences while traveling, but mainly while surfing the web, you can use Surfshark VPN because those differences will be gone. Let's say that you're traveling between US and Czech Republic and you like to watch some films that are only available in US and you come to Czech Republic and those films may be gone. Well, you can
VPN,
open
huh?
Surfshark VPN on your mobile device, on your iPad,
VPN.
on your computer, and you can pretend that the device is not in Czech Republic but still in US, and therefore you can continue watching whatever content there is that may be restricted only to one country. The example between Czech and US is only one, but you can put your device virtually anywhere around the world. Me and Honza use Surfshark VPN. If you want to try it out, you can do so. Use our code, which is HonestGuide, and you'll get 83% off and 3 months completely for free. The link is below the video in the description. And now let's cut from the border with Germany to the pub where I'm describing the differences between US and Czech Republic. Now let's talk about service in restaurants and pubs, because that may be a bit of a shock for you when you come to Prague. Yes, quite often it is rude and not polite at all. That's also a huge difference for us when we go to US and a waitress will come to our table
Oh my God,
and she will
one-
introduce herself and she will smile.
I cannot
and
pause.
she will maybe recommend something from the
save
menu.
my
That would
life.
never happen.
That's one thing I noticed also when we went to Japan. Like I was stressed. Because we in the Philippines we like, you know, we take our time, we take our time doing things. That's why we're always late, right? Filipino time. When you go to a restaurant, it's usually to kind of like relax, sit down, catch up with like family, friends. or the significant other. But in Japan, it's so like quick. And I only found out that there is such a thing as family restaurants where in there it's a bit more slower. That's where you can catch up and all that stuff. But most restaurants there, it's almost rude to like stay and chit chat, you know, like go there, have your food, and then leave. It's usually like that. Like you cannot just sit there and be like, oh, blah 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 blah. Nah, right? So I'm always stressed because I'm used to like sitting down, talking, and doing whatever TikToks, whatever we want to do, right? And like, yeah, the service it's considered like, for me it's like, oh my gosh, I want us to leave already. Like, why do you bring in the bill? Why, right? Like they do everything like super fast. When they see that you're done with your food, they come get it, and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm not done. Like, are you okay? But obviously you realize as you're there that it's the culture. So we as tourists, obviously we have to adjust, right? Because it's not our home turf. So that's one thing that I was like really stressing about over there. But there is McDonald's obviously, and there's, like I said, a family restaurants wherein it's more like up our stream. So we choose those places to eat. But obviously when we eat in those type of restaurants, we don't get the cultural Japanese authentic food, right? That we want to try. Anyways, just saying. Okay. What is
here.
wrong with my laptop?
I mean, it's changing. Don't get me wrong. Service is getting better. But if
How
you
is it
go
rude,
to like
though?
a local place, a dive bar, which I would consider this place to be, quite often they'd be grumpy. And it takes a long time for them to get to know you. And after maybe a 20th visit, they will share a little smile with you. Not like in US. First time visitor, oh, I love coming you to our restaurant. My name is Wendy. Can I take your order? Hi, Wendy. Speaking of Wendy, when I was first called darling or honey in a restaurant in US, I was like, she really loves me. She just called me darling.
For the tips,
I
though.
like that. I mean, I like the bartender here, but he never calls me darling. Let's make it stay that way, okay? We're tough guys. Even though the two of us consider the service at places in the United States very good and very nice and
I
very
like that.
polite, there is one thing that we consider to be very rude. And that is, you're finishing your meal or maybe you're halfway through and suddenly a bill lands on your table. What is that? Are you kicking me out? That would never happen here. Any business, restaurant, pub, coffee place tries to keep you in the place as long as possible. You're done with your meal, they'll offer you a dessert. You're done with your dessert, they will offer you coffee. You're done with your coffee, maybe you want to start over
Yeah,
and
they
have
wanna
another
keep you there
appetizer.
forever.
In other words, they want to keep you in as long as possible. You have to ask for the bill. In US, very often, you're halfway through, here's your
Here
bill.
is very 50-50, depends. Some places you have to ask for the bill. Some places, like busier places, um more, let's say, upper end, when it's more high end restaurants, they will give you the bill like towards the end of your meal, or when they see that you're done, they will bring the bill for you. But it doesn't mean like you have to leave or anything. You can stay as long as you want, but they're just kind of like, I think that's your tactic to see if you're gonna like stay or leave, so that they know, like, or just to tell you that, hey, you either order or you go, right? But that's the upper end restaurants. But the others, you can stay there as long as you want. Even there was an issue with this, I don't know, I think he's from the UK, sadly, maybe. But he came here and he was complaining about the fact that Filipinos like hang out in Starbucks, and there's no seats in Starbucks, which is true because they just live there, especially students. They live there, like on their breaks they'll go to Starbucks and do their homeworks or hang out with their friends, so it's always crowded in cafes. Not just Starbucks, but that specific example was a Starbucks that he was like, why are people always hanging out there with their laptops and blah blah blah. And obviously culturally in the Philippines it's acceptable because everybody does it. So he kind of got a backlash for saying that, because of the cultural difference. But yeah.
Well, maybe I want another something. No. The bill is already on the table. Just weird. Speaking of the bill, let's dive into tipping.
You can collect
and
bills,
that can
actually.
create some
They'll bill you for
big
everything.
issues because that's a big cultural
You
difference.
just collect it on a
In
table.
US, quite often we get asked, do you want to tip 15, 18, 20, 25%? Which for us is like, whoa, that's a lot. A quarter of the bill just tips because it's a tip-based country or tip-based business. In Czech, that used to be
not so
very,
much.
very different. I mean, my dad would only round up the bill to the next higher number. If the bill was 99, he would round it up to 100.
100, yeah.
I believe most of our dads and mothers still do that. Nowadays, it's changing even here, and tipping goes from 10% higher if you're satisfied with the service. If the service is really bad, some people will simply not tip. If that would happen in the US, that you would not leave a single cent on a tip, I've experienced people running out the restaurant and be like, what happened? What did we do wrong? Like, why did you not tip? So tipping is very, very different, and I'm curious what you will say about that in the comments. Whatever country you're from, I want
think we've
to
talked
read
about
what's
this.
the average tip.
We've talked about this. It's not essential to tip here if it's solely yours, and sometimes it's not even allowed to tip in certain situations. Like, let's say, I don't know, there's a lot of situations where you cannot tip. It's not allowed, so you have to ask first. In food services, you can, but it's centralized. Okay, so it's centralized tipping. So if you want to. So in the food industry here in the Philippines, it's I think if not 100%, it will be 99.9% centralized tipping. So whatever you give, it will be put in a jar and they will break it. They will share it at the end of the month, or the company, whatever their policy is, right? The company or the restaurants will keep it to themselves. So sometimes I don't necessarily like to tip because I don't know their policy about tipping. Because I don't know if it's going to the pocket of the owners or are they going to give it to their crew, right? But what I do is like round it off. Like, oh, if it's 99, I'll just give 100. It's just like 1 peso. I have friends though that because they're American, they tip, and from them I do learn about tipping. Right, about tipping. So slowly I do learn about it now. And also, if I really, really like the place or the people, of course, we'll tip. But it's not something that I have to remember to do.
Tipping in your country. Now, this cultural difference is not
You don't
only
like my
huge,
commentary?
but
Don't watch
I
it.
consider it to be evil, and that is
Watch somebody
packaging
else.
and garbage in general. I'm not talking about if you go to a place where it's a takeout or you go to a fast food. Yes, they put it in a paper bag, either if you're in US or here. But I'm talking about if you go to a restaurant and they create so much garbage, so much waste, even though you're at a restaurant. Quick example. Mostly if you get a drink at a bar in the US, they put a napkin under it, so it soaks the moist that's running under it. Well, that's for one use only. Afterwards, they will throw away the napkin. How about they use coasters? Because you can reuse the coaster. And that's just one very simple example. Another one is if you order a ketchup at this place, they will bring it, either a bottle, some places in the US do that too, or they put it in a ceramic cup that they clean afterwards. Not that they grab 20 ketchups and throw them next to your burger. Or even in McDonald's in Czech Republic, you pay for every single tiny packaging of any sauce, any ketchup. So you think about if you want one or two. In US, yeah, can I get some ketchup? Here you go, here's 1,000,000 ketchups in tiny little bags. No, don't do that.
You take it home.
I mean, you guys are going all Michael Bay packaging. Like, hey, yeah, that's a plastic bag. Let's put it in a paper bag and let's put more packaging and pack it up. You want it to go? Yeah, let's pack it up more. Whew. Meanwhile, in Europe, yeah, let's get rid of plastic straws. They really destroy the universe. There's going to be one hell of a discussion under this video. I absolutely love you guys from US, and I love going to US, just so you know. We both do. Please don't cancel my ESTA. Now let's drop it here for a minute, and let's talk about coffee and coffee culture differences between USA and Europe. Triggered already? Well, you'll get triggered more. Yes, in Europe, we do not consider this to be a cup. of coffee. That's a gallon of coffee. If it's more than a gallon, it's not coffee. This is a cup of coffee. By the way, shocker, they have a cup
But
of
this
coffee
is
in
for
this
my
cup.
whole day, you know.
It's served in a ceramic cup. It's this size. You have a plate under it. It makes that little noise
can
when you
see.
put it down.
This is my whole day
You
of
sometimes
coffee
even get a
now.
spoon with it so you can mix your little espresso. And this is how you drink it. Not a gallon. Doesn't fit in your car so you can drive and sip on your little coffee soup throughout the day.
That's
Big
what
difference.
I do.
Big shocker for us when we go to places in US and they simply
Because when
don't
I
serve
can't
something like
leave
this.
sometimes my
Hold
desk,
your horses.
so
I
sip
know
on it.
that coffee culture in US is changing depending on which state you live in, if you live in a city and so on. But still mostly people think this is coffee and you cannot get this. It's sad for us Europeans. Can I get a cup of coffee? You want venti grande, grande XL, grande XXXXL? Like the Italians drink it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Now this next cultural difference may sound weird, but I believe it should be addressed. And that is restrooms and toilet sizes in restaurants and pubs. And I'm not talking about the actual seat size, but I'm talking about you have a big pub and there's one toilet. There's like one restroom for the entire pub where there's like hundreds of people. And the stalls where you can like sit to do number two are very like see-through. Like there's no privacy. Like there's no door at the bottom. Like if somebody peeks, they can see you.
Maybe they want to
That's
see
kind of
some
strange.
people getting
And girls
the
talk
free
about that a lot. Both our girls talk about it, how like it's kind of weird that people can't really see you. So that's a big difference. If there's a big pub here, it has many restrooms, many toilets, and it can, you know, do the business people need and accommodate many people at the same time.
Depends on the place.
And of course, the
here,
ones we
actually.
mentioned are not the only cultural
Like a
differences
mixture.
between our continents. There's many more. We can talk about different units. We can talk about different forms of transportation, how we move around cities and countries, how big are our cars and your cars, and many more topics. So let us know in the comments if you want us to cover more topics. And
nice
while
burger.
you're there, please don't be mad at us. This was not made to insult you, only to give you perspectives on our culture habits and your cultural habits that we experience when we go over to your lovely continent that we love to visit. But sometimes we're just like, huh, that's weird. We're the
I like
honest
this,
dudes
though.
from Prague. That dude's name is Honza. My name is Janek. We go by The Honest Guide, our channel full of content. So if you're planning to come to Prague, Europe, check out our videos. We do scams, we show you beers, we show you restaurants, coffee places, and cultural differences. I'll see you next week, Sunday. And a Czech word at the end, I'm going to teach you, we always teach Czech words,
Okay.
is how to say cultural differences. Kulturní rozdíly. Kulturní rozdíly, cultural differences. Or if you want to say one
rozdíly.
cultural difference, it's kulturní
Kulturní
rozdíl.
rozdíl.
Rozdíl difference,
Rozdíl.
kulturní cultural.
Kulturin rozdíly. So fluent now. Yeah, so like I said, we have a more common to the US, but in some circumstances it's mixed of both. Like the toilet, it depends, to be honest. What else did I feel? The coffee, it's also a mix because we do love our SBs, but we also can sit down and have a cup of coffee like the European way because like I said, we like the, catching up, we like the siesta type of deal. So we like sitting down and, grabbing a cup of coffee, which is not humongous also. So it just really, really depends what you're doing, where you are also. And yeah. We're just all over the place, to be honest. But anyways, beautiful peeps, thank you. Oh, one thing that I would say, even if we're so influenced about US too, right? Yeah, some people do have ice americano or cold coffees. Traditionally, Filipino coffees are hot, like brewed, right? Even if the weather is like 1,000 degrees outside, like people are sipping on hot coffee under the sun. People are sipping on hot coffee, but obviously since we are advancing and there's more modern stuff, yes, people will do iced coffee. But traditionally, well, when I was growing up, I remember my grandparents are farmers and they have their thermos and they would pour it, or they will, like, boil coffee, because we used to grow coffee anyways. So they will boil those coffees, and yeah, under the heat, drinking coffee. Yeah. So anyways, beautiful peeps, yeah, thank you for joining, and I will see you, like I said, I don't know, but hopefully tomorrow. Bye.